Hello, beautiful people. Today's video is all about who you really are and remembering that. I just got done listening to an Abraham Hicks message around this, and it was like, yeah, it totally hit home with me, and I hope it hits home with you too. And this is a practice that I do every day, every minute that I live. My goal is to live by this practice. So, are you ready to know what that is? So, if you got to this channel, if you got to this video, you probably are a seeker. You're probably interested in waking up and the idea of ascension, the idea of raising your vibrations. So, what is it all about? It's all about remembering who you really are. And what is that? You are source energy. You are the source creator of worlds, of everything. And so what if you are that source that creates worlds and creates civilizations and that creates universes and that creates every story imaginable? What if you are that creation force? Yeah. And what if you remembering that is really significant for your life of how you live, the people you attract in it, um, the happiness you have, right? The abundance that you have, the ease and glory that you have with your life, the communion you have with your partners and your children and your colleagues and whoever else is gracing your life. So, what does it mean to be source energy? And are we it all the time, or do we have to bring it in all the time? So this is what I learned from the Abraham Hicks stuff, was that it's who we are. It's what we are. And I learned this from Access Consciousness, that we are source and the body is in our source nature. So a lot of times we think that our bodies are first, right? And that source and our spirit is in our body. It's actually the other way around. We are a spirit, we are source energy, and the body is inside. What? And the reason that's significant is because we tend to think that we have to channel or bring something into us, and that we ourselves are not the power of the universe, are not the power of source energy. But it's the power of source energy that we are that actually created the body and this focused material reality. So that's kind of cool, huh? And a lot of times when we say we have to, I have to connect with source, I have to bring in. So it's not really like that. It's actually that we already are it, but we have to remember it. And every day we have to go in and remember and be aware of our source nature. And that's the practice that I do every day, and every moment I can remember throughout my day is coming back and remembering that source nature of me, that I am. And there's so much programming, right? There's the mind, and there's the emotions, there's the academic kind of mental mind, right? There's the subtle body energetic system, there's the physical body. There's a lot of entities that we're working with, and they all have their part and they all have their roles. And when they're all in balance and doing what they're doing what they do on a balanced way, it all works really well. And we really start growing to remember, oh, this is who I really am. But when we're in a society that is glorifying or one side more, and it's really out of balance, and they're not awake to what they really are, the mental and the physical sides and the emotions just way outnumber the actual isness and beingness that we are, which is that intuition and spirit and bliss body, that source nature. So, it's just a balancing of components. And really what the awakening process is balancing those components and then coming into our knowing that, oh, I remember now, I am source energy. And just by the awareness and just by saying, I remember now throughout your day, You are it. So there's no connecting, plugging back in. It's just that we are. Isn't that wonderful? And it's really like that in every aspect of spirituality. It's just in every aspect of our life and every aspect of awakening and ascension. It is really about the moment that we have a conscious, oh, remembering and awareness. The minute we become aware, something shifts. It's that simple, really, guys. The minute we become aware, we shift into that reality. Or we shift out of the reality, whatever it is. So awareness is key. So if you feel like, you want to plug in or you want to connect with your source self, then all you really have to do is sit and quiet all those other components of yourself, your emotions, your active monkey mind, your mental mind, your seeing mind, your subtle body. Quiet all that down. And you will sit with yourself. And once all that goes, there you are. And once you're there, when you say, ah, there it is, there I am, then there you are. Then that is your source nature. You can kind of get a feel for it. And the more you visit it and the more you acknowledge it and the more you become aware of it, the more it just shows itself and is present. Because the more awareness you have of something, it's kind of like when you when you want a red car and you want it, and then you're aware that you want it, and then all of a sudden you're aware of every red car on the street, right? It's kind of like that. If every day you're like, I really want to know my source self, and all of a sudden you sit with your source self, you feel it, and then you start noticing and feeling it everywhere you go. You start feeling it when you're driving, you start feeling it when you're eating, you start feeling you when you're parenting, when you're making love, when you are cleaning the house, whatever it is. This is your truest nature. And the more you're aware of it, the more it shows up. And it's not like it shows up, it just is, just like the cars. There's always cars on the road, right? But now you're really aware of the red ones, right? Now you're really going to be really aware of that source. And, it took me, wow, I guess about 10 years ago now, that I finally was like, I've been a seeker my whole life, right? Just seeking and doing yoga and doing Course in Miracles and studying Reiki. And, it came to a point where I was just like kind of sick of myself. I was like, I really want to know my source nature. I really want to feel something different. And so I remember I was in the middle of doing some trainings with Access Consciousness. And all of a sudden I was just like, okay, I have a toolbox about as big as this room full of spiritual and personal growth tools. I am going to use them. There's a novel idea. How many practices and tools do you have that you've kind of like done and then kind of forgot about, right? So it was this time in my life that I was just like, nope, I am going to use them incessantly. And I did. I got sticky notes and I just put them up everywhere of all the practices that I wanted to do. I wanted to be inundated. So it was like every minute of my day, I wanted to become aware of what I really was. And that diligence really paid off, because really rarely do I have this monkey mind like I used to have, and this negative spiraling, and or months of depression, or just icky stuff, and like now, as you raise your vibration and you really use your tools and stuff, there's some other things that you have to work through, like ascension symptoms, as the body starts acclimating. Like every cell and every piece of your body has to acclimate to a higher frequency, and that sometimes is challenging. But you're all through that, most of the time you can feel your source nature. And when you want clarity, you can really tune in to that source nature that you are, and your awareness will start to shift. It'll come in different ways. It'll come like, you know, with big intuition, or, you know, or it'll come with just a very subtle expansion of energy or contraction of energy. It'll come with a big yes or no. Like, it'll come in all different ways, I've noticed. And as my awareness keeps evolving, I have to keep on my toes to what the next way myself is telling myself what's working and what's not. And so, you know, when we look, a lot of us on YouTube are looking for guidance, right? How many times have we gone to a YouTube channel that's all about channeling? Give me the answer. Tell me what to do. Tell me what energies are bothering me today. And you know what, guys? Like, that's fun and all, but when you really get into the awakening ascension process, you actually get to know everything that you need to know as a being. Okay. And it doesn't have to be channeled. It actually, if you're willing to get to know your source nature every day and be like just sovereignly connected to that, you get to have all the knowing that you need. So while it's fun looking at all the astrology, and it's fun looking at, you know, the alien channels and like the Palladian channels and the whatever is being channeled or what someone's saying, it's kind of fun stuff. I've gone down that rabbit hole many times, but really, you're gonna feel your best when you start this practice of coming to your most sovereign self, which is source nature, your birthright. It's what and who and how and when you are. It's all what you are. And a lot of times we go outward thinking that we have to go out to get that information. We have to go out here to get an angel to support us, or we have to go out here to have a certain energy. And we don't. It's all, well, it's in here, but it's out here. Yeah, it's both, because out here is in here and in here is out here. There is no kind of separation. What I mean by going out, I mean like going to a different definition, right? To an angel or to an alien or to a god or to, you know, whatever. Honestly, guys, you know, all that will probably lead you to eventually back to your source nature. And so the journey goes. So the journey goes. We seek out here and we seek, and then we do this big 180. And what we do eventually is come back to our sovereign self with source. So if you're ready for that practice, and it's pretty simple. Eckhart Tolle does a good job at talking about it. It's just being present. It's just being present and not being seduced by the monkey mind or the pain body, letting those go, right? Not being seduced by the subconscious, past programming, tuning into your source nature every day, and even putting sticky notes up everywhere. Tune into source, tune into your source self. And remembering, because the more you do it, remember, the more it shows up, the more you're aware of it, the more that is the source of your business adventure, of your next song, of your next piece of artwork, of the person that's gonna show up as a partner for you, or your next friend, or whatever it is. If it's sourced by source, it's going to feel really good, and it's going to feel like your best life. And that's pretty awesome, isn't it? So guys, what is your true nature? It is source energy. How do you get there? Remembering who you are. And what's the practice? Sitting still, quietly, tuning within, which is really here, and tuning to that source nature for you, through you, as you, sanctioned by you, at source. So, all right, guys. Any questions? Is this making sense? Let me know in the comments. And If you like this kind of banter, subscribe. And a lot of the channel is about just being source nature and then just letting out sound. So a lot of the channel is about just a lot of sound healing, sound baths that you get to use in your own way. So if you're sitting with source, you're sitting with yourself and you want to just have this music from source as source, I do that with my voice. And so a lot of this channel is about that too, just letting out that voice. And that's something you can do as well. You can listen to mine, or you can do that with your voice as well. Be your source nature and let out some sounds. It's such a beautiful way to experience your source nature. So beautiful being. Have a wonderful day. I hope this message is a contribution to you, and I'll be back tomorrow with some sound healing and a sound bath. Namaste.